As John, it's Paul Allen. How are you?
Good, PA. How you doing?
All right, bud. Thank you very much. Congrats on the OT win last night. Might have required a stiff drink to handle it, but you left with 2 points. Crazy game, John. Crazy game last night, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it was. The finish was crazy, and then I think just in general overall, I thought the first period both teams were kind of trading chances, and then they were better in the second, and we were really good in the third, and then it was a strange finish. Obviously, with them scoring 0.2 seconds left, and then us scoring in the OT. So, lot going on, lot to process after last night.
Yeah, I should have said crazy finish because it periods 1 and 2. I mean, they were all different, but I mean, it was a little slower than at the end for sure. So did the Nashville goalie purposely dislodge the net in overtime and on the Johansson game winner?
I don't know if he did it on purpose. It looked as though that he did, but I can't say for sure. Originally, when it was on from my angle on the bench, I thought that he had pushed it off with his pad, so I wasn't sure right away if it was going to count. But then once I saw the replay from a different angle where his arm, looked like it had dislodged the net, then I knew it was probably going to count.
And when I say stiff drink required at the end of that game, Stamkos ties it with 0.3 seconds to go. Eriksson X clear to win the game. Hits an official. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. 14 with the proverbial bullets firing at that time. He made the right play, right?
Yeah, it was just one of those ones where it hit the ref and then it stays in. I think 9 times out of 10, with Eki, that's going to be a clear and the game's over, and none of the eventful things that took place after that would have happened. But I think in that case it was an unfortunate bounce.
What was the ref where he was supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough for those guys too when it's in a clear. He's coming up, it's under pressure. I think if it's a foot or two the other way, that's where the refs are in that area, the specific position. I don't 100% know, but know that that's where they are in the zones in those situations.
Each period last night was just so different. Does Nashville try to turn it into a slog and win tight, low-scoring games, or was that just last night?
I think it was probably more last night. I mean, it's the first time we've seen them this season, and so I thought both teams kind of traded chances in the first. It was a little bit, a little bit reckless in the first, and then I thought in the second period, I thought our execution and connection to be able to get out of our end and take the pressure off through execution and breakouts and coming out of D zone was off, and they really gained momentum from that. And then I thought in the third period, coming in with a 2-1 lead, I thought we played pretty solid. And
you guys, like you said, put the pedal to the metal in the third, played your cleanest period. When they kept missing the empty net to seal it, and before Stamkos tied it, what's the feeling for you like on the bench? Like, how do you stay calm during that flurry? It's funny when you're involved because you're so focused on what's going on, whether that's you're identifying the things that are going on the ice at that time. You're also, in preparation for a line change. If these guys come off, who would the next guys be? So you're making sure that that's organized. And so it's not so much, maybe like a fan where you don't have those responsibilities. It's just the game. I think coaching and playing, you're focused on what's actually going on and what could potentially happen next. Gus was on his game for sure, and it seemed you desperately needed it, right? Especially in the second period.
Yeah, good. Gus played a really good game. That's what we need from him. There was times in that game where we were under siege, whether that was mistakes that we make or there's breakdowns. I think every team has it in that stretch in the second period. He certainly was the difference in the game to keep the score where it was.
John Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild, 9 to noon. With Gus, did he make a lot of tough saves, or was it more of a blue collar, just do your job for us tonight, Gus, and we'll be okay? It was a combo. He made some huge saves for us. I think there was one point blank, right? He had the combination of everything last night. He made some big time saves on some big time breakdowns. He made the routine saves, and I thought he did a great job also as well. Just, in those trafficked, when you have to really compete as a goaltender to find sight lines and there might be tips or rebounds. I thought he was extremely competitive and solid in that area as well. So I would say that he hit the whole gamut last night.
You had a term or a phrase after the game that I hadn't heard. Maybe you've probably said it before and I missed it, but I think you were asked about the difference between the second and third period. So when you say sometimes you guys have to quote fight the panic, end quote, what does that mean?
When you're under duress or you're under pressure, particularly coming out of your own end, whether it's your breakouts or when you're in, say, a defensive structure posture and you wind up with possession of the puck. A lot of times, in today's game, there's so much pressure and everybody's so fast that if we're in the right spots, where we get into trouble, particularly last night in the second period, was the puck would wind up on someone's stick and we would just slap it. We wouldn't make a play. We wouldn't make a firm play. We panicked a little bit with the puck, and that's one of the phrases you like to use in those situations. Is you have to fight the panic, like you are under pressure.
Yeah.
But we have to have good positioning. We have to be able to make some plays in those situations more so than we did in the second period. I think if you go out and you watch, say, the first shift of the third period, I think we're in defensive zone coverage. Middleton gets over the puck. He's under pressure. He fights the panic. He pops it to the middle. We're out. We needed more of that in the second period.
That's terrific. The penalty kill was solid. What's key with attacking a power play? All right, that's your preference. Attacking a power play group without becoming too loose while being a man short.
Yeah. A lot of times it starts with a face-off. If you can win a face-off and clear it, now you've ate 10 to 12 seconds off the power play because they got to go down and break it out. Now you've established your opportunity to get in your penalty kill forecheck posture, which should be a strong defensive structure, even though you're a man down, and you try to prevent easy entries. So now you want to try to hold the lines, disrupt their breakout, not allow an easy entry where they can set up right away. Now, again, you've put them in a situation where now you can attack them with pressure. And then if you can get another clear, now you've attacked them, you wipe 35 seconds off the power play. Now, the other thing is when they do gain possession, and you have to be in your structure and they're running their rotations, that we need to be, now it's a time where we have to be disciplined with our stick detail, our positioning for the potential plays that they may run. Lots of times in those situations, because of the talent level out there's probably going to be one or two scoring chances on a power play that are high level where you need a save. And then off of those rebound situations, now you want to get into pressure again and attack them.
That's in the weeds. I love that. Just a couple to close here for John Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild. How close is Zuccarello to returning?
He's close. I don't know. I would say I would label him right now as day-to-day versus week-to-week.
Right, and I see you got a back-to-back coming up, so maybe one of those two. But when Zuki returns, in what ways will his return help this group? And with Johansson, what happens with him? And he's off to such a great start. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, I think when Zuki comes back, he's his on-ice presence is he's a guy that can fight the panic. He's a great guy. He's so skilled with the puck. He can make plays. I think the energy that he brings as a player, he plays both sides of the puck really well. His competitiveness for a high skill player, he's a very competitive player, which I think brings energy to your team as well as his ability to make plays. I think he obviously brings a strong power play element to our team. Off the ice, he's a veteran guy. He's got great experiences. He speaks his mind. I think he brings energy in the group. I think sometimes his voice is missed when he's gone, when he's out of the locker room. So I think you combine all those things. You're adding in a player that's well respected in the room and is an impact player on the ice.
All right, Carolina tomorrow night on KFAN. Nikolai Ehlers got his first for the Canes last night, and they got their goalie back from injury. What's different about Carolina compared to this Predators team you just played?
Well, they're a little bit different. I think they play a little bit different, a different style than the Predators. You know, they're basically a man-on-man team all over the ice. So they're a good skating team. They're very fast. They like to pressure you all over the ice. It's more of a man-on-man system everywhere, which is a little bit unique. And they have, you know, I think the way they put their team together, they certainly have guys that can play that style.
Tear it up, bud, and we'll talk next week. All right.
All right, PA. Take care, man.
Yep. Thanks, John. Coach John Hynes. Hynesy, 9 to noon. Each and every week, we thank Minnesota Wild PR, Media Relations, for assistance with that. And the Wild, once again.
It's time to drop the puck.
Take on Carolina tomorrow evening on KFAN. Here's Nordo with the cash thing.
Yeah, the fan and two men in a junk truck. You know what they want to do is, giving as they are, they want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. The keyword is bank, and you might be able to put some winnings in the bank if you enter the keyword bank at the website, KFAN.net. You know what I'm going to do, PA? I'm going to kind of make this kind of a mashup. A little bit of everybody's got warts in terms of a muddy NFC, but I'm also going to throw some Vikes Bites in here. Vikes Bites!
Beef.
Brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef, and whether it's your local Coburn's, Kowalski's locations, your local co-ops, they're proud sponsors of Gophers Athletics. You can shop online, big box of meat, shows up at your doorstep. That's pretty sweet. It's a Clearwater, Minnesota company. Matt and everybody involved, love you, Thousand Hills. I will hit you with a morsel. How about some nutrient dense beef? And if Thousand Hills was going to potentially sponsor a player on the Minnesota Vikings, they might sponsor some high quality beef on the interior of that line, where Levi Drake Rodriguez was just named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week.
Wow.
For getting that giant mitt up in the air, blocking that kick, and Isaiah Rodgers getting caught by the holder. Jack Fox, by the way, track star. Who knew that? But Levi Drake Rodriguez, El Presidente, was named NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. So congratulations to him. It takes everybody. It takes 53, ladies and gentlemen, or 46, 47-ish, depending upon who's inactive. But Levi Drake Rodriguez, all part of that big win over the Kitties. Congrats to him on that honor.
And Covenant claps to LDR, Levi Drake Rodriguez. That's awards like that for players who don't play full time. Well, they don't come too frequently. So Covenant claps definitely his way for somebody who has absolutely outworked his draft slotting. And having watched the game back now, I'll triple down on something that we guessed Monday, started to formulate the opinion yesterday, and it's fact. I mean, here's the reality. With Van Ginkel, Grenard, and Cashman, it's what you can't double Javon Hargrave every single play. You just can't do it. And there were some times Christian Mahogany was one-on-one with him. He annihilated him 2 times. So Javon had a lot of juice in that game. That's going to be required the rest of the way, but specifically this weekend. The Ravens, I mean, they got some big old beef eaters on that offensive line. It's a big, lumbering line that power runs and tries to vertical pass. So I think that shakes out well for Hargrave, unless Voorhees and Linderbaum or whomever go to doubling him. But I expect another big one this weekend from Levi Drake Rodriguez and Javon Hargrave.
May I ask you to reiterate a point that you made earlier, 9:20 just before Florio. You kind of noted big trades taking place yesterday, and there were some splashy bits. I mean, Sauce Gardner and that $100+ million contract being traded from the Jets to the Indy, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Quinnen Williams, the Jets kind of deciding, I think they're punting on the 2025 season, certainly, but they're going to have a ton of draft picks in 2026 and some in 2027, I think an extra first that year as well. But kind of reiterating the point that you made earlier, Vikes Bite style, that, no moves being made of material for the Vikings yesterday. Maybe some were surprised. A lot were clamoring, hey, there's a cornerback here. There's XYZ lineman there. No moves being made by Kwesi, but both of us may be in lockstep while not even sharing it with each other. Just kind of the idea, I think, if this team's healthy, I don't think this team is going to splash at the deadline for anything substantial to push forward into the depths of this season.
O'Connell told us to start X's and O's yesterday. Phone's ringing. I mean, there are a lot of phone calls that are being made. That was 11 a.m., which was 4 hours in front of the trading deadline closing. So it's absolutely every single team. I'd say most teams will try to make trades, specifically those with 500 or winning records. But they don't always work from a reciprocal value standpoint the way you would hope they work.
Yeah.
So to say that they didn't get calls that were interesting or they didn't make calls, I think that would be inaccurate.
I'm sure they were busy.
Secondly, if the Vikings lose that game to the Lions, and it depends on how they lose to the Lions when they get all their dogs back. Well, part of my, for what it's worth, part of Monday's 9 to noon conversation would have been different. And it, from 3 and 5, there could have been maybe off the microphone for Tuesday day of, wonder how much they got to think about this.
Yeah.
Wonder how much they got to think about that. But then you need to, it's required to mesh the current salary cap, the future salary cap, picks that you have over the next couple of years. And do you like the team? And from a cornerback standpoint, Isaiah Rodgers did not play every play. Byron Murphy played every play. He's the only corner to play every play. Rodgers played them all, I think, except for 5, 6, or 7. And there were Flores, as the kids would say, was in his bag. I mean, there were so many different things when I watched this back that I just had not seen all season. Okuda was out with a concussion. They didn't use Nudie. So therefore you have Theo Jackson playing in different spots.
Yep.
But his snaps were down. Hitman's snaps were way up. He was at the line a lot of the game. I don't know how much, but he was up on the line a lot. Then he would retreat. We've seen that before, but we haven't seen 22 and 26, Smith and Jackson at the line, feigning rush, and then right before the snap, sprinting back. That threw off Goff. I mean, because he had never seen that from a Flores defense. We had never seen that from maybe never's too strong. I mean, but as frequently as we did in that game.
Yeah.
And, I'll say it for a fifth time, man. I just cannot stress the importance of having 58, 51, and 43 in the game at the same time. I mean, it's formidable. It was Grenard and Van Ginkel, it could be argued, top whatever 1-2 edge combo last year against run, against pass deflections, and touchdowns. Gink had 2. Might have been the best. Certainly off stats. Well, they got that back. They're 3-0 when Van Ginkel and Grenard play together. 2-0 when Cashman, Van Ginkel, and Grenard play together. But the interesting thing here is what happens with others when you got to pay attention to 43, 51, and 58. Blake Cashman, I'm not going to say he played the best game of his career because I didn't watch a lot of it from Houston or with the Jets. Cashman was in it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he was into it physically.
14, 15 tackles all over the place.
Right. But see, the previous week, the Chargers previous game, they used that Matlock mostly strictly to run up the middle, take out Cashman. Okay. And I don't know if I'm right with this or not. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. But in watching that back, okay, when Pace was in the game, that they would use plays with that 44 fullback Matlock, the Boise State kid, where I just think the belief was if we take out 51, 0 will make mistakes more than he won't. See what I'm saying there?
I do see that, yeah.
And there were a couple of times where Ivan Pace Jr., I mean, he stayed blocked for an hour.
Yeah.
So you got Matlock mashing into 51. So now it's heading towards 0, who's really good against the run when he's not blocked. Couldn't get off blocks. And there goes Vidal. Or there goes that former commander backup. So there's just so much intricate stuff that goes into this. It's just like, when I asked Hynes about the fighting the panic. And no. When I asked Hynes about, all right, so your PK, it was good last night. It's getting better. But, if you want to attack a team's power play, how do you do so without becoming loose in other areas?
Right.
Well, that was his longest answer of the 7, 8, or 9 that I unfurled. Because he got in the weeds.
Yeah.
And it may be coach speak to some. It's fascinating to me because I never played hockey and I just don't know a lot of that stuff. Same thing with meshing all of this together to get Hargrave on a big one.
Yep.
Meshing whatever together to get Goff thinking, yeah, here comes 22. Oh, wait, he's not coming. Extra beat. Bam, Redmond nails him. It's just that was... off the trading deadline, just to land the plane on your original question, Nordo and I didn't text about it, didn't talk about it, didn't bring it up on the radio, and it's not because we don't think there's anything that can be done to fortify, amplify, and or improve this team. Is when healthy, we like our squad.
Yes,
and the A topic's JJ McCarthy. Win or lose every game, win or lose these games the rest of the way. Well, that has a topic to it for sure. But the capital A topic is the maturation of a franchise quarterback. And that, so what goes into that to fortify that? We like the moving company. We like the tight end, specifically when Oliver plays. But Vannett and Urasek gave everything they had, specifically Vannett, to help with that running game. We like our 1-2 pop at running back, specifically when Ham is active for pass protection. And we like our top 4 wide receivers.
Indeed.
So we like our squad. All right, what about the defense? Well, I mean, it's
Hargrave needed that game.
Well, but it's also unrealistic to. I mean, I can't say it's unrealistic because the Eagles have done it and they won the Super Bowl. But to have the salary cap mesh with the picks that you have, meshed with what personnel knows the next 2 drafts look like, because they look that far down the road and we don't, 9 to noon at least, to have an all-star team, I mean, that'd be great, and Howie Roseman and or your guy Les Snead with the LA Rams.
Bleep them picks.
Right, but they got the money, okay? But it doesn't always work that way. It's risky when you run businesses that way. And I just don't think that's the right way to run the business here.
And now the Rams have regenerated themselves with terrific drafting over the last 3 or 4 years.
Well, so have the Eagles.
And
I just want to stop the conversation right there.
The Eagles.
Oh, the Rams drafting with the picks they've had in the middle rounds and on Saturday.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just going to give you a couple of claps and we're going to move on to something else.
Like, I don't actively root for people to fail, but when Les Snead so arrogantly after winning the Super Bowl, F them picks is what he says, there was part of me like, okay, reap what you sow.
Me too.
You got the Lombardi, which I'm incredibly jealous of.
Right.
But let's see how that goes. Well, it's gone fantastically.
Yeah, they might go to the Super Bowl this year.
No, it's so yes, the Vikings quiet at the trade deadline, but many picks.
I'm telling you right now,
many picks,
and whether I have steam or not, I'm telling you right now, Stafford and this is in no way encouraging egregious or below board hits.
Right,
and it's not at all. I'm just saying, at this stage of his career, he's one, and I think they know this too, he is one blindside bad hit from the whole thing being over. Just think Favre, 2010 Hartfield, College Stadium. Now Wooten threw him down, but I mean, when you get to that stage of your career, your life, and with your age, he
doesn't take as much. It takes just the right one.
And Matthew Stafford is one of the toughest players in the history of the National Football League.
I think he actually played the majority of a season with what Carson Wentz is now having surgery on. In fact, he's had shoulder issues. He's played with back issues. He's tough as nails.
Right. So they're very good. Puka with Devontae has really, really come together. Kyron Williams scores every game. Their offensive line, I don't think it's the greatest, but they make the best with it by the way they scheme plays. They're a handful, but they McVay, if you got him to open a vein and the truth serum bit was in him, and you're asking about Stafford, they're sweating that there's a bad step or a knee twist or a bend over the wrong way, back tightens up, or the wrong kind of hit, because Stafford is right at the finish line.
You know the Rams, by the way, who might be at the finish line with the QB. However, this year, yeah, they have they got 2 first-rounders next year.
Jeez.
As well. So,
okay.
I don't know what the QB situation looks like in 2026.
I mean, if they time that thing up so they can have 2 first-round picks.
Oh, it's the Falcons one, too. What if the Falcons fall off? Are you kidding me with this?
Oh, make moves and get up to the top 3?
If the Falcons fall off, their first rounder is going to be a nice one.
Wow.
And however things shake out for the Rams, which kind of led me down the road again. Like,
go Birds.
NFC, everybody's got warts. Like the 5-win Panthers.
And Young in the shotgun. Snap to Young, blitz coming. Young in trouble, and he's sacked. The ball comes out at the 10-yard line. It's loose at the 5 and recovered at the 2 by Collins, and he rolls into the end zone for a touchdown. It was Josh Sweat, the newcomer, who knocked it out, and Zaven Collins recovers it and scores, and the Cardinals lead 6-0.
I mean, we're super happy that the Panthers have their 5th win by beating the Green Bay Packers. There's no doubt about that. But the team can't throw the ball. It's Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, or bust. They ran it up on the Falcons early on. I know that. They ran for 455 yards on the ground and 2 close wins of the Dolphins and the Cowboys at home. Beat the Jets in a slog, beat the Pack in a slog. They should be proud of their 5 wins. J.C. Horn and Derek Brown look like they're balling, but bad turnovers. You heard the highlight there from Dave Pash. I think that was Cards Radio. And they can't chase well in games because they can't move the ball through the air. They love Tet McMillan. Maybe they wish they had Thielen back. Who knows? What is it? Xavier Legette. I can't rely on him from a fantasy perspective, certainly. But Niners, Rams, Bucks a couple of times, and the Seahawks. I mean, when you're looking at this muddy NFC, here's what the Vikings need to do. They need to hop, skip, and jump 3 teams. That's what they need to do. So they're not looking. They need to beat the Ravens. That's the A topic, certainly. But you're in a muddy NFC, they got to hop, skip, and jump 3 teams. Well, the Carolina Panthers, well, that's the first one on the list, and they certainly, full of warts, will be jumped. How about these Bears?
We have a Tim Jones sighting. Wide receiver left, 3 receivers right. 3rd and 5 from the Bears, 13. Chicago rushes 4. McCarthy, straight drop to the end zone, and touchdown! Justin Jefferson catches J.J. McCarthy's first National Football League touchdown, and it's 17-12.
The Bears are 5-3, PA. They have plenty of warts. Their secondary, like Jalen Johnson's out, I think, basically for the year. Kyler Gordon is on IR. They just lost Deo Odengbo, Lavelle's favorite player for the entire season. And I think,
Tyreek Stevenson missed last game. That's now they gave up 40 some odd points. They almost gave up 500 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. So I'm kind of boxing myself up here.
Joe Flacco.
Right. They didn't, the top 3 corners for the Bears were out last game. Hey, what happened? Well, Flacco at age 40 almost went for 504. Oh, wow. They won? No. Beloved BJ found a way to get the money late with the Michigan rookie Loveland. But just to win that game in those circumstances, when you have a new coach and you're playing new players, that stuff is really, really big.
Well, typically, I mean, you see some shootouts. You saw the Cowboys-Packers tie earlier this year, 40-40. Jordan Love.
I missed that. I was in Europe.
Oh, you missed it. Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those 1:30 in the morning clips.
But it was just an insane exercise, and we can get to the Packers because this is really what it all boils down to. I think the Bears are going to fade. I mean,
Packers are going to beat the Eagles.
QB's making dumb mistakes. Swift and Monangai, it's a homeless man's version of Gibbs and Montgomery. The defensive injuries remain and persist. Absolutely, yes. Oh, Look at that.
Thank you.
I can smell that through the microphone, and it is delicious. But the schedule does them no favor. There's no more Cowboys and Raiders and Saints. They'll beat the Giants. Probably.
No, that's good for Green Bay.
I'm still talking about the Bears.
My bad.
But I get what you're saying. I just think that the Bears ultimately are going to fade lack of health and lack of consistency on offense. And you watch games like that, whether it was that 40-40 Cowboys-Packers game, but specifically back to the Bears, it took Colston Loveland bouncing off a safety with one of the laziest tackle attempts you'll ever freaking see in your life.
I have not seen the game-winning touchdown.
It was
from like 60, right?
It was 58, 59 yards, something like that. And Loveland, it's a nice pass from Caleb Williams, and their clock's going to be ticking down. I think they're going to have to spike it, possibly get a field goal off. But in the end, one of the laziest tackle attempts you're going to see from a safety. Loveland was game for it, bounced off of him, made a turn, and he was off to the house. But the Bears still not getting what they need to out of the QB, still in a stage of growth, and that's a team you have to hop, skip, and a jump, which leads me, PA, again, going back to my earlier question.
Yeah. I think the North is the answer.
You think who's going to send 3? Will it be the NFC North or will it be the NFC West? Because the Rams right now, as they've gotten healthy and they find their way, whoever wins the West, I think at least one's coming with them. These Niners have one of the easiest schedules, and they can flame out in January, no doubt about it. Mac Jones turns back into a pumpkin, but he's figuring out how to win games. And then Seattle, man, we're going to get to see it in person.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're going to have trouble with Sam down the stretch.
Well,
I wonder.
I'm glad you said that. Okay, week number 1, they host San Francisco, Seattle.
Yeah.
And the 49ers have Bosa. They have Warner. They have their dogs. They're still waiting for Ayuk, but they got Kittle and they got Purdy. All right, San Francisco beat them at Seattle. Then you go to Pittsburgh, and, you win at Pittsburgh 31-17. Pittsburgh was ripe to be beaten by the Vikings when the Vikings were battling health issues at an 8 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Pittsburgh's decent, but not a world beater. Agree?
Agree.
All right. Then they beat New Orleans. They went to Arizona, won it in the last 2 minutes, 23-20. They then hosted Tampa Bay, and they got beat at home when Tampa Bay was more healthy than it is now.
Because of this.
2nd down and 1 from his own 32. Charbonnet stays in the backfield, slots on the left side and the right side. Long count. Here comes the rush. Sam gets the ball away and throws it into the middle of the field, and it's intercepted. It's intercepted by Levante David, the inside linebacker. Pressure was coming. Sam tried to fire it in there in between defenders. One too many times. Oh, my word. And that's picked off right in the middle of the field and well within field goal range.
And they kicked a field goal, and Tampa beat the Seahawks at Lumen.
Wow. So that's how that bad boy ended?
It was an absolute shootout. I think it was 38-35, the final maybe.
Hold on.
Sam Darnold goes under center, takes the snap on 1st and 10, play action. He's able to run away from a couple of Lions for now, but then he's taken down back at the 3-yard line. Sam Darnold sacked for the 47th time this year. It's a loss of 17 yards, and it's Chris Smith in his first full year from Notre Dame.
How are you taking that
He's one of those guys playing because of all the injuries they have. He's a Detroit, Michigan native, and his friends and family are going nuts. 17-yard loss.
Now Seattle went to Jacksonville, and I watched. That was the Vikings bye week. I watched basically that entire game. Super ugly game. They were in charge every step of the way. So then after that, they beat the Texans. They crushed the Commanders without Jaden Daniels, and now they have the Arizona Cardinals at home with Brissett. After that, at the Rams, at the Titans, Vikings at home, at Atlanta, Indianapolis, in Seattle. Then they finish with the Rams at home, at Carolina, at San Francisco. So still a ton of the story to be shared here. But the point I'm getting at is I just don't really know, like when they've won games and how they've won them, what they've beaten. Well, let's not forget the 14-win Minnesota Vikings last year were the record was inflated and got a little puffy by sweeping the AFC South.
Yeah.
Okay? And these guys are going to sweep the AFC South. So I think I've seen this story before. I just wonder how it ends. We'll see, right?
That's the thing, and I've already seen a couple of text messages because, of course, as we've had the issues at QB this year, people are looking out west and they're talking about Sam Darnold, and I think Darnold has done some terrific things
But how are you going to have Darnold
for the Seahawks?
You got to give him $100 million minimum.
This persists. I agree with you. I don't think that was ever a feasible option. You can have a Daniel Jones conversation if you want to go back in time, but I don't think Darnold was really ever in the cards. But with that said, there is we made this grand plan to move on for JJ. Look what he's doing out in Seattle. And I would actually encourage people. I mean, it's difficult to do, but I would look more closely at these games. He is absolutely on one at times. And that matchup he has with Jackson Smith and Jigba is maybe the best quarterback to receiver connection in the NFL in 2025. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, like him and Addison last year.
But exactly. Yes.
Addison out of the slot.
Absolutely. It was terrific at times.
4 receivers. Darnold steps away from pressure for a second, but then he is sacked. Darnold back to pass. The pocket is claustrophobic, and he's sacked. Steps up in the pocket. He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man. Bounces around in the pocket, and he's sacked for a 6th time. The Rams have hit the pick 6 with sack Sam. Bouncing around, looking, holding the ball, and getting destroyed again.
Okay, so anyway.
I would encourage there are potential issues that could arise for the Seahawks. Mm-hmm. I think I really like the coach. I think the defense is balling out right now.
Big time.
All they do is win on the road, by the way.
Their front 7 is the sneakiest, best front 7 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Sneakiest.
So Seahawks are game, man. And it's not about ripping the team. It's not even about trying to intentionally drag Sam Darnold. Just watch those games closely and just see that some of the warts that existed here a year ago, they haven't left.
Hey, the bet, the first part of the bet is settled in a few weeks. Okay, so go ahead and bring 43, 51, 58, 97, 22, 7, and 2. Go ahead and bring them to the Cappuccino Capital. And I'll tell you this right now. If I'm the Seahawks, I make it a color rush. And I wear all navy blue and emerald green because you don't want to see the back of some player's pants.
I always love that
after they see a week of Flores film. So Brian will be ready for that, and so will Kevin.
Yeah, and it's going to be a fun one on the road at Seattle. In the end, though, I guess landing the plane, landing the Cessna on this. Who's going to send 3?
Yeah,
their division, our division. And
it's just one of those two.
We got to do our part, man, because one of them will have 3 teams in the playoffs. It was the North last year. Maybe it'll be the North again.
I think it'll be the North again. I mean, it's I'm not going to go. We don't have time to go through Green Bay's schedule, stuff like that. Just here's the deal with Green Bay: if there's a team above 500, they're going to win.
Yeah.
If it's a team 500 or below, they're going to lose, or that team will play them to the wire.
So Monday night Eagles W the following week at MetLife and the Giants.
Your Lions take into the season, and we joked about it last week. All right, now we're at the midway point. Like I said yesterday, the best of the best put the pedal to the metal the weekend of Thanksgiving, the Sunday after Thanksgiving,
big sprint.
And there are some things with the Lions that I saw this last game that were dramatically different than what I saw last year when they were working through a lot of problems, really galvanized with these Chris Smiths and these no names that that just aren't playing much and they're playing out of their skin.
Yeah.
Well, then that bubble burst against Washington. Should have burst against us. But Detroit is anything but a cinch to win this division.
Well, everybody's got warts. The division is fun. Frankly, we're only having this conversation because we just beat the Kitties, and I am pumped for Baltimore as maybe we turn the page tomorrow and start looking at Lamar.
Yep, for sure. That'll be tomorrow, and 9 to noon we'll put a wrap on today after this. Man. Thank you very much for the good times today. Dan Cole, the common man, and the program around the corner. For Eric Nordquist, I'm Paul Allen. Tomorrow, 9 to noon, we start the show with Fincho. Start the show with Fincho. Finchy. Off hopefully a victory over the Knickerbockers this evening.
John Morant, though.
Ravens commentary at about 9:20 from BaltimorePositive.com guy. Nacho Lieber. Why? Because it's a Thursday. And in the final hour, the Vox of all Voxes ever to Vox. Welcome to 9 to noon at U.S. Bank Stadium. Have a good day. God bless all of you. Bye-bye.